The game industry has been busy as of late, with several high-profile game releases coming out within the span of a couple of weeks, plus all the live stream events going on. It's kinda hard to keep up. Speaking of live streams, Sony just had their March State of Play stream go out this week. Sony had a lot to show off this time around. Most of it was games you already knew about, but there were a couple surprises thrown in there as well. There's a fun-looking TMNT collection coming out, a JoJo remaster is coming out, and Valkyrie Profile is making a comeback. Kinda. Oh, and then there's this. Yeah, Capcom already said this has nothing to do with Dino Crisis. Let that sink in. Even though we saw some good stuff in the March State of Play, there were a few games that didn't make an appearance for one reason or another. What could they be? Well, I have some suggestions. Here's my list of the top 5 games that didn't show up at Sony's State of Play. The parameters on this list aren't as in-depth as some of the others I've done on here. Basically, I'm only focusing on Japanese developers, as that was the main focus of the Sony video, with the exception of a couple of games. So don't expect to see a lot of Western games on here today. Other than that, let's begin. Number 5, Marvel's Wolverine. Okay, I'll admit, there was a 1 in 10,000 chance that this game would show up. Mostly wishful thinking on my part. Pretty much when it comes to Marvel in Japan, if they aren't using Spider-Man, then 9 times out of 10, it'll be Logan here. Also, read that Claremont Miller miniseries if you're interested. It's peak Wolverine. Number 4, DNF Duel. Arc System is killing it right now. Strive is doing great numbers, Grand Blue is getting a spot in EVO, and Dragon Ball FighterZ just got a non-Goku. Persona Ultimax is making a comeback with some tasty rollback netcode, and FighterZ keeps his netcode. Damn. You would think that Arc System would want to keep the momentum up here with their next fighter, DNF Duel, but you would be wrong. The beta they released last year was fun to play, but kinda obtuse in how it ran. It seems to be a potential classic in the making, so let's hope we see it soon. Number 3, Soul Hackers 2. This one isn't an obvious choice to most, and it's understandable why. When it comes to SMT, people only care about Persona. Let me elaborate. In the gaming world, it goes like this. Persona is first, SMT is second, and then everything else comes right after that. But Rado though. I know, he's so fucking cool! And that's exactly the point. We only get SMT or Persona these days, so anytime we get a chance to get anything different, it's interesting. Oh, and if you want to play Soul Hackers 1 digitally, you better get it soon because it's on the 3DS eShop. Number 2, Slitterhead. Holy hell, did I ever forget about this one. Slitterhead is a game that's being worked on by the guy who did Silent Hill, Keiichiro Toyama. The guy that worked on one of the most beloved horror games ever is on this list? Tell me more! And that's the problem. I can't because there's only one trailer out right now. All I can tell you is that it looks very promising. Okay, as of the time of me editing this, there's a developer Q&A video out right now on the web about the game. I haven't checked it out yet, but it's a little something to chew on. Number 1, Final Fantasy 16. 12 games were showcased on the video. 12 games made by different developers, but anybody who watched this can tell you that this was a Square Enix presentation with some other fuckers thrown in. Don't believe me? Here's a graph. Yeah, those visual aids hit a little different, doesn't it? You have Stranger of Paradise, Forspoken, Valkyrie Elysium, and Diofield Chronicle, practically Square's whole entire lineup for 2022 to 2023. Except for one tiny game you may have heard of, Final Fantasy 16. Yes, Final Fantasy 16, not Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it. If anybody thought that game was gonna show up on this video, or to a greater extent the Sony video, they've been hitting the molly water way too hard. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Modern Final Fantasy games take forever to come out. Remember when 15 was 13 and Remake took 5 years of actual development time? Rumors and tech demos notwithstanding. Final Fantasy 16 wouldn't be on the list if not for the fact that it was just so jam-packed with other Square Enix games. It's almost as if it was there to distract us from not noticing its absence. Maybe we'll see more Final Fantasy 16 at E3. You know who won't be there? Remake Part 2.